Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for Beau and Nick, the losers with a dream. What a waste of time. Yep, they're losers. You're listening, so who's the freaking loser, people? Welcome to Beau and Nick's Losers with a Dream. Yeah, I freaking hate them so much. They're lucky they're funny because they suck at everything. You're listening. The question is, why?
Hello and welcome to the Losers with a Dream podcast. We are losers and we have big dreams. First and foremost, you okay?
Yep.
Beau's just burping.
Just catching my breath.
This guy's hammering seltzers over here. I don't know if you're having a heart attack or what's happening.
Like it.
Follow us on Instagram. Me at Nick Scopes.
And me at Beau McDowell Comedy. Beau is spelled B-E-A-U because I'm French and I'm hot.
That's one of our big fans who's live in studio. It's not Lisa Lampanelli. Just, they're here. So, welcome, you losers. No, just kidding. We are going to get into our first segment.
Yes, we are.
As always, one of our favorites. You know, you guys have been emailing us. Like, we love it so much. Rate 5 stars if you think so. The mental health check-in. Now, we don't do scale of 1 to 10.
No, I mean, listen. We don't do
Because we're
scale.
creative. We're artists.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm like the Van Gogh of comedy.
Meaning you're
Because
going
I
to
cut my ear off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't hear nothing.
Yeah.
Okay? We're artists.
So let's start with you.
I just thought of a scene from The Departed. Go ahead.
Okay. No,
No, we're
I
starting with me?
Yeah, we're starting with you.
Okay, cool.
I like to switch it on you.
Oh, that's hot. So, my mental health check, and I'll tell you how I'm feeling. Okay?
Yeah.
Lisa, Beau, and I had a conversation the other day. And we've talked about this before, about stories we tell ourselves.
Yes.
And my line is always, I'm dumb.
Right.
I'm fucking stupid. Who cares,
Yeah.
right? And Lisa goes, I think that's a story you're just telling yourself
Yeah.
to make up for, you know, if you don't do something to your fullest ability.
Right.
Like you hide behind the... And what I'm trying to say is, my mental health check-in, I'm like Fredo in Godfather 2. Okay? Not because he betrayed the family. I'm loyal, okay?
Yeah.
I'm like a dog. I'm covered
For
in hair.
now.
I'm loyal. And if you put peanut butter on your body, I'm going to lick it off. Just kidding. Those are legumes. I like almond butter because I'm doing Whole30.
Okay.
Ooh, anyways, I'm like Fredo in Godfather 2 when he's talking to Michael, and Michael's just talking to him. They're at the... It's very specific. They're at the house in Tahoe, and it's snowing. And Fredo just goes, I'm smart. I can do things. I'm not dumb. I'm smart. I want respect. I was the oldest brother and I was passed over. So Lisa, I'm smart. Just because my grammar is horrible. And I learned the difference between the your and you are like 4 years ago.
Nobody needs that information.
No, I
by the way.
learned it 4 years ago maybe. I was like, hey, who cares?
Yeah.
Learned what an action verb was yesterday, but that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like Fredo on Godfather 2 because I'm smart.
Nick, I agree.
And then
smart.
Lisa had her friend take me out in a fishing boat and shoot me in the head.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's how I'm feeling. How you feeling, bud?
I'm feeling all right. You know, lately I feel...
Get your hands off me.
I'm so sorry.
They're so sweaty. Jesus,
I'm
I know we're under
excited
lights,
to be
but
here.
Christ.
I get excited sitting next to you.
Okay.
And so I feel like Homer Simpson.
And look like him.
Okay.
Because you're jaundiced.
Because the other night, we had a great night. It was a good time. To celebrate, stopped off, got ourselves a donut. And
That was after. You got to do it in order. What did we get first? Or you got first?
I got 2 hot dogs.
What'd you put on them?
Well, ketchup
And?
and ketchup.
Incorrect.
I put mayonnaise on it.
Oh!
I liked it.
This guy pretends to be from Wilton and affluence. Like, put mayo on my hot
Listen,
dog,
he
please.
offered. I like the delicacy of the area we're in. Okay, he offered,
That dude was from like Istanbul.
and
That's
he
not,
knew, and it
mayo's
was
not their
tasty.
thing.
And leave me alone. He's
Probably-
shaming me. This
Probably
is shame.
was. Yeah, it is.
It was
Yeah.
very good. It was very good. Anyway, I stopped. I get the donut, and then all of a sudden, it's just been a nightmare. Ever since that donut, I have been eating.
Oh, you've been on a roll.
I've been on a roll.
A buttered roll?
A buttered roll.
From a gas station?
Yes.
Nothing better, by the way. Nothing better.
I have been eating. I've been eating my way through just about anything, and it's always, it starts with that one decision where you go, I deserve this. You know what I mean? There's always that one.
It's kind of like,
And
dude,
I've been doing so good. I had 2 weeks on of like really cutting, and I'd lost some weight, and then bang.
that's like what we talked about in an earlier episode. But you're talking about like if you have that one bad meal, and then you just go on the fucking, you go on that tangent. I've had clients, they're like, well, in the morning I had this bad, and then I go, when you get a flat tire, do you just pop the other three? What are you doing?
All right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
get
I
it.
love you, and I get it.
And,
But
listen,
reel it in.
it's only been a few days, and I am reeling. I'm reeling it in, and this is kind of my way of calling myself out. This is my mental health check-in here,
He's gonna
okay?
be in a meeting next
Calling
week.
myself out. I'm saying, hey, Beau, no more of this, okay? Tonight, I'm getting the Florentine omelet.
Ooh,
and
like a Gettysburg.
yeah. And I say it here so that they watch me order that. And
It's gonna turn.
yeah.
Can I get the chili cheese dog with mayo?
And maybe just add some fries. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, and the best is whenever
Fries or house salad?
Lisa always makes fun of me for this, but whenever I order something, I go, you're just like, a little bit on the side. You know what I mean? Just that.
It's like they give the same portion to everyone.
Yeah.
Don't say a little bit. Doesn't make it less. Like they're not gonna.
you just get a side of ranch.
Yeah.
Like just, yeah. And so anyways, that's where I'm at. But, I think this goes well into our next segment because we love to eat, but we also love to love.
And being meatheads.
And I messed up the segment.
Yep. What else is new? I think it's because you're eating all those bad foods. And there's a big gut-brain connection, and if you have yeast overgrowth, no, I'm just kidding.
No, we're actually going to do the meathead moment this week.
We're not falling in love this week. We're done.
Yeah, I don't like love.
Okay, if you're listening,
I
this
hate
is in
love.
chronological order. I went out with that girl. She ghosted me again. No, no, I don't know what happened yet. The future. So we're gonna. So our meathead moment. We're gonna talk about meathead moments because listen, we are, as Lisa said, the coolest, most straight guys that can talk about their feelings. We're like rare air. Okay, we are medium rare. Matter of fact, we're steak tartare. We are so fucking rare and special. Okay, but listen, Beau and I, we're dudes. At the end of the day, we are straight dudes. We did play sports our whole life. We are little meatheads. We definitely are. Me more so than him. But sometimes we have these moments. Now, usually, I'm gonna go first.
Yeah.
Usually, we would just give the meathead moment to, ourselves.
Yeah.
But this week, I feel like I just gotta address it, even though this is gonna be a little late. My meathead moment of the week goes to former governor Andrew Cuomo. I keep getting this meme sent to me.
Yeah.
And I thought it wasn't real. But apparently I did some research and it is. The whole, I'm not perverted, I'm just Italian.
Yeah.
Hey, man. You can't be going around grabbing girls' pinoli cookies
Oh, God.
and sucking the cream out of cannoli on people and be like, hey, I'm just Italian. But although I was thinking, and now every time I touch you, I'm just going to go, oh, bippity boppity boopity. It's all good.
Bada bing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Can't go around squeezing people's, gabagool and all this shit. You can't do it. If you want to grab their rainbow cookies, because it's 2021, you can do
Right.
that. Or the S-shaped cookies. Or if you want to shoot some anisette on them and it's consensual, that's fine. But you can't do this, dude. You can't just say, I'm Italian.
I think it's probably
Although,
his best.
As I'm thinking about it, I think I'm going to use it.
I think you should always be going, what, I'm Italian. Every single thing you do. Oh, I don't got to pay for this meal.
I'm just going to pretend to trip and grab you every time. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, my God. But yeah, I can't believe it was real.
It's pretty wild.
We live in wild times.
It is. It's wild times.
Things happen. You just go.
I know. But all we can do is focus on us.
That's right. Now, babe.
So, my meathead moment this week, I was over at the gym, not bragging. I go to the gym, and I walk in.
Just once a month.
All right, can we?
Sorry.
I'm trying. And I go in the gym, and there's a bunch of people in there. I'm like, all right, I don't know about this. But my trainer, he sees me, he goes, oh, why don't you hit the bike? I go, all right, yeah, I know the bike.
And he goes, stay there for the next 2 days.
I go, I know all about this bike. I got this bike. I'm going to get on the bike. So I get on the bike. I do about 5 to 10 minutes. Let's say 3.5 minutes to be real. And
Anywhere between 3 to 6 miles.
Yeah, I was on there for about 30 seconds.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
Half mile. I did 1 30-second sprint.
And I just started to have this feeling of like, hey, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I just had this like, today's not the day. And I got up off the bike, and he looked at me and he went, what's going on? And I go, not today. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, it's not the day. And he's like, so you're gonna leave? I go, that's what's happening. And I walked out, and he watched me. He was like, oh, all right, because I was so obnoxious about it. So he was like, oh, okay. And I just went home. I sat back on the couch, and I said, this is not who I need to be today. Who I need to be is me to the core. And I liked some goldfish that day, and that's what happens. Okay? Because not every day I can be evolved, okay? Not every day I need to work on my shit. Some days I just need a little King of Queens and some me time, and that's what I needed. And so,
dude, as much as I want to, I should, I'm a trainer, I bust your balls. I've done that a million times.
Yeah.
I'm not. There's days I texted you. I think one day I go, out of nowhere, I was like, I'm not going to the fucking gym. I'm going to the pool at my condo. No one talked to me.
I was like, can I come over?
Yeah, I was like, I'm already done. Hour and a half and I'm out. That's it.
Listen, there's not every day you always need to be working on yourself. Some days you cause damage, and that's okay.
Some days you need it. Sometimes you need that donut. And sometimes you need 2 hot dogs with mayo.
Sometimes we just have to accept.
Sometimes you order
our
2 entrees
limits
at Gotham.
Okay.
Which I did. I got the burger and I got the popcorn shrimp.
Yeah,
and they were delightful.
Yeah, you do like the double entree move.
There were so many beautiful women on the show. It was overwhelming.
Yeah, none of them texted me.
They followed us on Instagram.
They did follow us on Instagram. That was nice.
First step, dude. We're getting there, dude.
Yeah,
that's our meathead moment.
Please DM first. I'm nervous. Anywho,
you guys were very funny.
They were very funny, and we should respect them as comedians.
But also, Beau was the best.
I was the best.
Only because
I
wasn't on the line.
Okay, all right. We're going to move on.
Let's reel it in.
We're going to move on to our topic of the week. When we come back, it is accepting
credit cards.
People's limits. Accepting people's limits. And sometimes our own. Thank you.
Quick break.
Dude, I don't know what to wear to the gym anymore.
Definitely not your Grateful Dead belly shirt.
I thought I looked good.
You go to the gym?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh.
Listen, you 2 idiots, stop fighting. Best looking gym stuff I ever seen, fitnessswank.com. I wear it, and I'm a fitness influencer in my own house.
That's true. She is.
She is.
Ballroom dancing bitch.
She's the talk of the treadmill.
Fitnessswank.com. Seriously, it's the only shit that hides your tits and highlights mine.
You said fitnessswank.com?
That's the website. fitnessswank.com. Hello and welcome back to the Losers with a Dream podcast. We are losers and we have big old dreams. What? Oh,
just wanted to
God.
make
Can we
noise.
cut that? Jesus. Anyway, we're going to get into our topic of the day.
Yep.
And it's about accepting people's limits, other people's, ourselves, all of this.
Yes.
And it kind of ties into my mental health check-in when I say I'm dumb. It ties in a little bit. Oh, God, you're a nightmare. Just move the cup. Fucking God.
All right, I just had to change the page.
Yeah.
Turn the
Could have figured it out,
page.
right? Anyway, I'm Bob Seeger. You're cute. Anyway, how the hell did we come to this topic?
Well, you have been a problem.
No. Made up thing.
As I recall, things have happened. We missed you for a period of time, and we were upset.
Not voluntary,
Not voluntary.
which, is important to note.
But here's the thing. We all know somebody or have had a relationship with somebody where something happens or whatever goes on and you go, God damn it, I wish that this didn't happen. I wish that this person dealt with this better, or I wish that whatever. And you go like, oh, you know what? I have to accept them for who they are. I have to accept what they can handle right now.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have done it with me, because there's been periods of time in my life where all I could really do was pick up a bottle. So, you know what I mean? Like, there have been years where, people absolutely were like, okay, Beau has a lot of limits. One of them is he can't stop pissing himself when he comes over to the house, right? Like, that's a limit that people have put on me.
The guy can't find a bathroom.
Right. Yeah. He comes over, he has a nice time, but then there's pee on the couch, and we just can't have that, right? So, and I think that there's friends that I've had that, like, they keep relapsing, or they keep going back to the same relationship that doesn't work, and I keep wanting to be like, hey, man, just figure it out, and this is the worst thing to say, is just figure it out. Right? And I think I've said that to you a few times about a few different things, and it's never a good thing to hear. It's always a bad thing to say, right? Because it's basically me going, I'm not accepting where you are at right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, just figure it out and just get better right now. Right? And that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help me.
Unless you're an NFL coach.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Just figure it out. We're not going to pay you $20 million. It's easy to say, right? But
Hey,
just
man, or we are paying you $20 million. Perform.
right.
For
Exactly.
Figure it out.
Exactly. But we're not in that position.
You're definitely not.
Probably never going to be in that position. So it's like when we have our friendships and we have things that happen, and I know you probably experience this a lot with your father. I know I experience it a lot with dude. I know I experience a lot with people in my life. I have a spiritual advisor, as they say, and he has quite a few limits. You know what I mean? Yeah. He has quite a few limits, and I know that when things happen with me with women, since he is a gay man, and since he is a serial dater and somebody that kind of just looks at sex and relationships as something he can have fun with and he never wants to be with anybody, I go, okay, this probably isn't the best guy to talk to about my loneliness problem, right? Because he's super happy with his limit, right? And I have to accept that, and I can't keep going to him. You can't go to a well that is dry, as they say, and I have always been very dry.
Ew.
Let's
change that.
No, but we all have to accept each other's limits. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
especially doing this podcast, like, we have to accept Lisa's limits.
I don't have any.
One of them is that she screams at us, no matter whether it's good news or bad news.
And we are left to determine whether we did okay or not.
Yeah. So we all have limits. We all have things that are tough to hear about ourselves, but also tough to deal with other people.
Oh, man. Yeah, I feel that. You mentioned my dad. And obviously, he listens
Yep.
to this. And because it causes, dude, I get it. It causes frustration, and Lisa could talk about it. Dealing with a parent who is aging, right?
Yeah.
My dad with, like, technology.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he refuses to learn how to order things off Amazon.
Right.
And he calls me and tells me to order it for him.
Right.
And I got to make sure it sends to his address. And then he goes, I'll pay you next time I see you.
Right.
And then, which he does usually.
Yeah.
And
paying cash for something that you bought on Amazon is hilarious.
dude, I'm not
paying
kidding.
cash to a third
I'm not
party.
kidding about what I'm about. This story I'm about to tell. I'm not even exaggerating. Dad, I love you. My father would call. He would go online and look up supplement companies. My dad, he takes care of himself and vitamins. He would look up supplement companies. He would look them up on the computer.
Yes.
And then call them and order his stuff.
Yeah.
While the page that you can just do it because he didn't want to think about it, didn't want to figure it out.
Yeah. He also doesn't want the computer knowing where he lives.
Yeah.
Which is very...
There's a microchip. Yeah. It's listening to him.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell's going to come to his house.
God forbid Tucker Carlson
Yeah.
knew where he lived.
Oh.
No, yeah.
Dude, what about the other day at Duchess when he made that?
Oh, boy. Let's not
we're
go
gonna
there.
talk about that.
But listen,
it was, I was like, hey, Dad, shut up. But I accept that limit.
Right, and we're going to say that one thing about this because we don't talk politics on this show. What we will say is things have been crazy. A lot of people are divided, and you have to accept somebody's limit when it comes to that, right? Like they have their certain belief system. Yeah. They have their certain show or network that they watch that they get a lot of information from, and you go, hey, man, I'm going to accept your limit. I'm going to understand that this is where you're at with this, and I'm not going to bring it up. And I think it's so important to understand like where your boundaries are with certain people, right? Because like if you keep going back to like I said, if I kept going back to my spiritual advisor being like, hey man, what should I do about this chick? Or what should I do about that? And I kept getting the same like, well, just fuck her. Who cares? And I went, oh, okay. He's not giving me the right advice, but I'm going to keep asking for the right advice. Yeah. Right? Then it's on me. And a lot of this stuff, it always comes back to the axiom of it's on you. Right?
Yep.
If somebody's bothering you, it's usually got to do with you. You haven't set the correct boundary. You haven't accepted who they are. And now you're upset, right? But the reality is people who are who they are, and it's okay that they are who they are. It's okay that you have limits. It's okay that I have limits. Obviously, I stopped peeing on people's sofas. But yeah, every now and then...
People gets paid to pee on people.
Yeah.
There's a Craigslist ad if anyone's interested.
It's called Wet Work.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's cute. I like it. It smells like asparagus.
No, but it's a very tough thing to accept. And man, I definitely think I have a lot of limits. I'm trying to think about like what
all of them.
Yeah. My biggest limit, honestly, when it comes to like comedy is I am a little too like singular focused. You know what I mean? I get a little bit too like, okay, I'm going to get this. And to the point where I will, because I'm in ambition mode, I will just run right over people. And you've seen me do that. I know you've seen me do that where I'm like.
Happened a few weeks ago, kind of.
Yeah.
It happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah. What did I do? Come on, tell me.
Well, I got us those spots at, what was it? The Brooklyn Club?
Yeah.
And then you were like, hey, I got a spot at Stand Up New York. And I was like,
yeah.
You don't want me there?
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, yeah. And, like, and you immediately like, and I was like, okay. But again, I don't think it's intentional. I think it's, again, you accept the person. It's like being in a marriage. I know I can't change you, but I love you for who you are.
That's right.
I can change it. No, but really though, essentially, like, me, you, and Lisa are in this marriage, essentially.
Right.
And yeah. But Lisa filed for divorce with us. Just got a text from her lawyer. Oh no, it's all over.
And the papers are on the desk.
Papers. But the good news is we didn't sign a prenup, so we get half it. We rich.
I made it,
baby. But no, like accepting people's limits. Like for me, I know it's tough for me to deal with because you are, and not in a bad way, essentially, but you're very emotional.
Yes.
Day to day, I don't know what I'm going to get from Beau.
Yeah.
I love you.
What are you saying?
I'm saying figure it out. No. I mean, dude, if I met you 6-7 years ago, I wouldn't be. I'll be honest. I probably wouldn't be friends with you because I looked as a people showing too much emotion. I saw like my grandmother,
right?
And I was like, nope, already got this.
Yeah.
Run, get out of here.
Yeah.
So anytime someone's too up and down, I'm like, oh,
yeah, no.
Because me, I know how I am. And sometimes for me it backfires, and I know this is a limit of mine. Me, I'm so nervous. I want to keep homeostasis.
Right.
If I had to put a visual to it, this is me. I'm holding all my stuff, career, worries, anxieties, and I'm going like this through life.
Yeah.
And I'm tiptoeing. I'm going, all right, we got it. We're good.
Yeah.
And then when I decide, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to run. And then I run and then I drop something. I'm like, oh, I got to go back.
Yeah,
I lost something.
Yeah.
That's me. Those are my limits.
Absolutely.
As my therapist says, I idle at like a lower. I spend most of my time trying to calm myself down.
Yeah. Yeah.
90% of my life is that.
Right. And it does get tough for me because and this is where I have to accept your limits, is when I start to get into my manic states, which happen, I'd say, every 2 weeks, usually on the dot, where
It's a cycle.
Yeah, I cycle into, let's not, and by the way, if you're a therapist or a psychologist out there, don't fucking try and help me, okay? No texts about, well, you should really be, you should really be on this medication
Right
because you're experiencing that. I don't need your help. I'm doing just fine. I killed the other night. Leave me alone. But all right, sorry. That's my limit. That's my limit. I do not like help. I do not like help from people on the internet. I do not appreciate it. But no,
But he does like attention.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. No, but like, when you're very organized and when I get in those manic states and I go like, all right, we're doing this, we're doing that, and I see just the nervousness, like it's like it starts at like your midsection and it just goes all the way up and you go, okay, all right, yeah. And I'm just going like, and then we're going to do this and then we're going to do that. And you're like, hey man, you know, like, and you're like, I have all my things. Let's not drop any. Beau's going to knock them out of my hands.
Yeah. How many fucking times, I'm sure Lisa will talk about this later. How many times have I gone, all right, so what time's the meeting on Sunday? And then, okay, so this day, and I go over the whole week that we just talked about again to reiterate it because I'm nuts. And I also put everything in my calendar.
Right.
So but that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I need repetition.
And actually, that is why Lisa and I do kind of have a similar wavelength, because we're both very singular and driven and nuts.
You guys are way more similar. Yeah, you guys are way more similar than I am.
Right.
Yeah, to you guys.
And so we see your trepidation, great word, for for life and for things that are happening and the excitement of things, and we go like, he needs to fall in line because we have a thing and we're gonna get there, and what the fuck, and you know what I mean? And so we have to accept our limit as that's the type of people we are, but it doesn't mean that we need to change everybody. And so we accept you accept us, even though I'm sure we scare you sometimes, but it's important, right? It's important to understand who you are. And there's so many goddamn people out there who just have no idea who they are, right? And I think so much could be learned from just going in and going, okay, what are my limits? And also, what are the things that I'm really good at? Because with every limit, there is something that you're really good at. You are very organized. You do my calendar every week.
Yeah, we have a shared calendar.
We have a shared calendar. He fills out everything. I look at it and I go, okay, these are the things. But if you didn't put everything in my calendar, I'd be like, wait, what? But because I don't operate that way.
I'm not making fun of you, it's just funny. You earlier got confused as to which notebook you wrote stuff in.
Exactly.
I go, hey man, you use this one, you're using the other one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, fuck, whatever. We're different. But also, like, again, like, and I'm glad, you admire that. And for me, about you, just you'll do stuff to get ahead in comedy and, like, getting yourself on shows and push. And I'm like, I'm so nervous. It's not even that it's a bad thing or I think I'm going to bomb. Anything that disrupts homeostasis,
right?
Good or bad.
Yeah.
And we talked about in the Fear of Success, even if I have thoughts of this and I get excited and then I immediately get nervous because it's evoking an emotion.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's not a positive or even if it's a positive or a negative.
Yeah.
It's still making me like my adrenaline. Things are changing.
Right.
I can respond really quickly physiologically to when things are. But like before I go on stage, I'm having a panic attack. Essentially, like
I've seen that.
Most of the time, I'm literally having a fucking panic attack.
Right.
So no reason for it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I go off stage and I go, "You okay? You
Yeah.
fine? You idiot? The fuck were you? Were like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what you were nervous about,
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you
It's-
never look nervous on stage.
No.
Yeah.
You have. I wish you could just. If it was like Orange Theory and just had my heart rate up on the. It's like he's coding.
Yeah.
Had my heart rate up on the thing, but no, like for you, and I look at that and I go, man, I need a little bit of that.
Right. And it's a definitely, as Lisa will tell me, it's a lot of delusion and a lot of drive.
A ton.
Yeah.
Mostly the delusion. The drive's good, but
Right.
No, I have my buddy who I've talked about a million times in here, Anthony. We had coffee just today prior. I realize him and I are the same person in a lot of ways with our anxieties and worries. He just puts his head down, like me walking like this.
Yeah.
He takes it and just goes, fuck this, and just
Yeah.
like
Barrels through life.
just how he ran the football in high school.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could show you tape, okay? Took people's heads off, this guy, all right? I showed Beau.
Yeah.
Was actually,
Kid can move.
like, kids just, anyways,
Yeah.
but we have the same things.
Right.
He just goes, nah, not happening.
Right.
And he has a little bit of delusion too. You know when I knew he was off and he had a little too much confidence? I asked him in high school, I go, we played football. I go, do you think you could block, meanwhile, I'm over there like, I hate myself.
Yeah.
I go, do you think you could block Ray Lewis? He goes, I'd fucking knock him out. We're 15 years old. We're white kids from Monroe. And that's why I was like, oh, this kid's on another level
Right.
mentally.
Yeah.
So-
Absolutely.
And I was like, you'd get crushed. He goes, probably, but I'm going to fucking try. I remember what he said.
Absolutely.
Probably. I'll probably get killed, but I'm not going to not do it. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to our good mutual friend BJ, and
Just got a haircut. Looks great.
He does look great, and I was telling him, something about I'm worried about this and this is going on, and I started making an argument, and I go, well, I said it, so it's right, and he goes, you do that all the time. He goes, every time we start having a conversation and you get excited about something, you raise your voice, you say, I said it, so it's right. And then you try and end the conversation. And I go, but I was right. And he goes, that's not the point. The point is that you will just, your only tactic for arguing is just yelling that you're right and stuffing your head in the sand, which is not the way to go around life.
You are Charles Manson. Did you know, fun fact, he's 5'2", and he always used to sit up on the high part of the chair whenever he would be interviewed by anyone to feel taller because he's a psychopath.
Well, it's a good move.
Fun fact. So that's you,
Okay.
but you're not doing it,
No.
we didn't kill anybody. But not yet.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, dude, I get that. But
yeah,
and
a lot of it is just the addict brain, and I have to accept that I have that, and I don't always like accepting that I am an addict. Like there's so many times where I'm like, dude, that's a limit that I have, and I fucking hate it. I hate that I can't drink, not because I want to drink or because I fantasize about the past and I want to go back.
No,
it's more like I just don't want to have any limits. I want to be, you know what I mean? I want to be able to conquer everything in life. So the fact that there's this I have literal kryptonite in the world that I can't touch. I go, fuck that. I should be able to dominate everything.
Dude, I see, and I feel that way for food, with food and stuff. I have gut issues. I have a lot of. I really have to. If I eat shitty, I'm talking for a day or two in a row. My body's like, "What are we doing? What's your problem?" So when you and Lisa, obviously, you guys bust my balls at the diner when I get shit. It's literally, I hate it.
Yeah,
I do not like it. I do not like the fact that I can't eat dairy anymore. I do not like the fact that I can't have fried foods and not wake up the next day and feel like shit and have stomach issues. I want to be bulletproof.
Yeah,
I want to have everything, but It's just not my thing. It's
Right.
not going to be my thing. Just like you feel about drinking.
Right. And it just comes back to like this superhero complex of like, we don't want any limits. We don't want to have anything that can hold us back. So that when we see it in others, we go like, oh, he has limits? What the fuck? And then we tell them to figure it out, and we scream and we tell them that we're right, and then that's it, right? And we can't do that. You can't go through life that way. You have to accept your own mortality, and that's essentially
So
the
the
problem.
moral of the story is, we're gonna die. Not today, not tomorrow, but very soon. We're just kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna be okay. Listen, I think we've covered this.
Yeah.
I think we crushed it, as they say.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with our guest. Not guest. She's our co-host. I'm a moron. They call her Limitless Lisa Lampanelli. Triple L.
Triple L.
Triple L. We'll,
Fitness influencer,
fitness
ballroom dancing
influencer.
bitch.
She does it all. Sold out. Radio City and Carnegie Hall. We're next. Anyways,
We'll be right back.
You know what, Beau? I freaking hate most fitness brands, and I'll tell you why. They make you look like a sausage roll, even if you're skinny and beautiful like me. So you know where I buy all my fitness shit?
Where?
FitnessSwank.com. It's a company that makes you look good and that undercarriage can breathe. Get FitnessSwank.com.
you don't want to look like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Listen, that's unnecessary.
FitnessSwank.com.
Seriously, they're good.
You want to be next to greatness?
I do, so I better go out the door. Ooh, snap,
All
we're
right.
back.
Hello, welcome back to the Losers with a Dream podcast. I'm your host, Nick Scopes,
No,
a.k.a.
you're not.
The Talent. This is Beau McDowell, B-A-U. He's French and he's hot. And he crushed.
Did
I say that?
moron.
All right, whatever. Doesn't matter. Oh, my grammar.
I
went to
It's
Yale.
called spelling.
I don't know how to read.
Oh, yeah.
I
Nick,
just ain't no good at that. No.
I ain't got
Views could change. Eyes could change.
I ain't got no book learning. I'm a faithful person.
You've met my dad.
That was me in the very big Razzie award-winning film, Larry the Cable Guy Health Inspector. And I will reenact my line. And that did win the Razzie that year for worst. They always do these films that are the worst of the year. And here is my fantastic iteration of my character speaking to you. I don't know. That's my part in the movie. It's like I had to accept that was the part I was given. And I could not complain about that. Although it was a very uncomfortable movie. I'm just going to say why.
Yeah.
Not only did I have to age myself, they had special effects people to age me to be 70. So not at the time I was only 35.
Yeah.
To play Larry
Holy
the Cable
shit.
Guy's potential mother-in-law, I had to put on a fat suit of 400 pounds. And by the way, it was perfect. It looks fantastic. I look like an
I need to see
old.
what this looks like.
Oh, dude, you got to watch that movie. It's so
Yeah,
bad,
never
it's
seen
good. So though at the time I was not that old, so I still enjoyed male attention, and I forgot I was all outfitted in that. And there was some really, really hot security guards at the shoot, and I'd be like, "How you doing?" Well, I tell you.
Did you
Well, let me tell you.
Do you have photos? You go, no, this is really me.
Yeah, well, that's what you gotta have to do. Oh my God! So I had to accept that they did not like a 70-year-old, 400-pound person. That was so
How
sad.
dare they,
Oh my
fat
God.
shamers.
Okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, this was my topic because this is what I've been working on for the last year: accepting other people's limits. It is so hard to do that. But first, before we discuss that, I loved your reference, Nick, when you said you are the Van Gogh of comedy. And I would give that a slight edit because Van Gogh cut his ear off, and the audience wants to cut their ears off when you get on stage so they don't have to freaking hear you. Now, I love that you said Van Gogh because it proved you actually listened to something I said last week, because I mentioned going to the Van Gogh immersive experience in New York City, and you actually showed you listened. So I do applaud you're becoming a good listener.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, you haven't always been, but you're getting better.
Day to day.
I'm a good yeller. It's one day at a time. But adjusting our expectations and accepting other people's limits is literally really, in 60 years, it is literally the biggest lesson I've ever learned, because that's the only way to have friendships, only way to have relationships, only way to stay in relation with anyone, even a dog.
Yeah.
So I have 2 dogs, as you know.
Yes.
Parker, named after Sarah Jessica Parker, and of course Beau's favorite, Peggy,
Because he likes
who's
getting
named
pegged.
after Peggy on Peggy Olson from Mad Men. So I have to imagine, okay, if you just take them as a case study, if I didn't accept them exactly as they are, I would be mad 5 times a day when they shit on the rug. Now, P.S., I have to accept that I'm a shitty dog trainer. So it's my fault that I've made them this way. They know how to pee on a pad, but for some reason, now that we moved into a new place, they cannot figure out that that's also for poop. I have to accept that, or I 5 times a day come down the stairs, go around the corner to the living room or wherever it is. And I've also had to accept that I have to wear shoes all the time just in case I don't see it, because I have, and this is allowed to say because I'm referencing a rug, not a person, an Oriental rug.
Yeah.
And they are very hard to see poops upon.
Right.
So I have to
of
accept
patterns.
that I have to wear shoes, that I cannot ever walk around barefoot, which, by the way, is super gross anyway. So don't do that. It's horrible.
Right.
So if you have to do it with dogs, you got to do it with people. And by the way, you have to do it with life.
Yeah.
Because in your program, your top secret program meetings you go to, your Scientology meetings, no, the other cult,
CIA.
the other cults you go to, they talk about accepting life on life's terms.
Yeah.
Life is not going to just change for you, Beau McDowell and Nick Scopaletti, and not even the world famous fitness influencer Lisa Lampanelli. So it's like we have to constantly work on going, that's who they are. That's how life is. That's how it's even with traffic or anything. But man, accepting friends' limits and then knowing to have standards too, that's the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if people's limits are too much, you just have to cut them out.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Because that's called, you didn't make the frickin' cut.
Right.
Or you got bumped down. I had a spiritual advisor once who said, and I think we've talked about it, divide everyone in your life into one group or the other, patients or peers. And the patients are people who you have to look at differently. They're not on the same spiritual wavelength. You might have to limit contact, but it's not saying you hate them. It's just you accept their limits and they have to accept yours. Chances are people are out there accepting our limits too.
Right.
So for everybody in my phone that I'm going, I can't call her when I'm in a bad mood because she probably is with the baby. Or, I can't call him because he makes jokes every time and it makes me feel devalued, Nick. I'm going to go, they're probably on the other end going, Lisa, I can't call her when I don't want to hear any advice whatsoever.
Right.
So I think it's a whole dance of like figuring that stuff out, and it's hard. Am I right or am I right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm hard.
See? See? We have to always go. So that's why I know in my phone, if I figure, okay, Nick is not going to answer the phone after 10.
Yeah.
I respect that limit. I get it.
just who
Because
I
he's
am.
probably trying to bang some girl who ghosted him. Nice try.
No, I'm asleep.
Or ignoring some girl that's a little girthy.
Yes.
So I have to and he gets up at 5:30. But this is the problem. When you go, my husband, he has to wake up at 5, but I want to stay up and hash this out till 3 a.m. Well, listen, bitch, do you want him to earn money or not?
Yeah.
You know what
Crash
I
on the
mean?
way to work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
some of these wives do want their husbands to kill themselves in a fiery collision, and they probably would like to because those women are horrible. So it's all
Been
about,
there.
it's your only way of having relation with anyone. So let me think of what limits I have with you guys. It's not as bad as shit on the floor with the dogs.
Yep.
Nick's limits are that I don't think Nick is dumb. He just doesn't think he's smart. So he's going to always put that one up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to get through that.
Yeah.
So that's one of his. Some of his other limits are he cannot commit to passion for anything because he's so afraid of losing it.
Right.
So he cannot be as passionate as Beau is about his career. He cannot fully commit to a lot of things that I wish I could put a fire under him for. He's not gonna. And by the way, does it really affect me? No, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it used to frustrate me when people didn't have the passion.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what do I care?
Yeah.
He's cock blocking himself. He's not hurting me.
Right.
You, I have to accept. Well, no, I do like that you don't. He doesn't call me, by the way, Nick, when he's in his weird manic states. I think he knows better. Do you know that?
Yeah,
Of course.
Do you accept my limits that I'm like, oh, I'll scream at you until you get your S together?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So with Beau, it's more
He
like.
unleashes on me instead.
What's that?
He unleashes on me instead.
Well, you guys are
true.
more peers to each other.
Yeah.
I accept that Nick skews 80% patient, 20% peer, and I would love some growth, but my life doesn't depend on it, and I don't get mad at him.
Right.
It's a way to avoid fights and anger is basically true, because I used to go to the shrink all the time going, why won't so-and-so change? Oh my God, she knows she should, let's insert problem here. She knows she should break up with that guy.
Right.
She knows she should take a year off dating while she's drying out. She knows she should not be so codependent. Well, you can either accept it or not. And if
Right.
it's too toxic a person, then you just go, we can't talk anymore, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Mm-hmm. You know? Do
And it
you
is okay.
find, because do you find yourself holding on to people that pretty much have too many limits and aren't good for you?
Absolutely. And it goes back to codependency, where it's like, you know, there are people that I have in my phone or that I get calls from, and I go like, oh man, why haven't I just said, hey man, like,
This isn't working for
this
me.
isn't
My
working.
shrink told me the most 5 powerful words are, that doesn't work for me.
Right.
It's literally no other explanation has to be given. And if you want to, that's fine.
Yeah.
But accept that they're not going to grow from it.
Right.
And if they do, it might be 10 years down the road, and they'll go, oh, that thing Beau told me, that resonates now.
Yeah.
But most likely, people like where they are.
Yep. And
They're like Wilson Phillips. They're comfortable with the pain.
right.
And hold on, and they're gonna have to accept that I'm gonna sing something like that
Yeah.
almost every
Once an
show.
episode.
Yeah.
You love it.
Yeah.
Best singing voice ever.
And it's very easy to cover up letting go by going, oh no, I just have empathy, or no, I should just, or just
Right.
constantly putting yourself in their shoes,
Right.
and being like, oh well, you know, they have this, and you just make all of the excuses possible for them.
Sure.
Right? And that's not a way to live either. You can't constantly be excusing everybody's behavior so that they can just do whatever they want.
No.
You have to hold them to some standard.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. Like if Nick didn't show up for the podcast,
Right.
he'd be out.
Right.
If he was late, he'd be out. These are just basic things. I don't expect much from Nick, but he does.
He is punctual.
But he is punctual. He's organized.
I was here an hour and 15 minutes before
yeah,
we
nobody
had to
cares.
record.
This is literally not
And I did the
necessary to show
homework.
up that
I did
early.
the homework that I wasn't even around for, so
Yeah, well,
Yeah, great.
yeah.
pretty good.
So,
and I'm talented.
What you have to do is go, I accept that he's a dumbass, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's a dumbass. I have to accept he thinks he's dumb.
Right.
Until he realizes he's not, because he isn't.
Right.
And top secret, if you work on
No
your
one knows.
limiting
I'm
beliefs,
smart!
you can. You are. I wouldn't say you're that smart, but you're not as dumb as you like
I'm
to
very smart.
use to get out of things.
Right.
It's a nice way of getting out of things. Like, okay, I always say I'm bad at math and science. I probably will always be bad at those, but I probably wouldn't be as bad if I sat down with a tutor and worked on it.
Yeah.
So I think we tell ourselves those things just to kind of get out of challenging ourselves too.
Right. And if we weren't somewhat good at accepting each other's limits, make no mistake, this would be our breakup episode.
Oh,
You know what I
guaranteed.
mean? Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Like, yeah.
And because it doesn't, it's really, you just go, well, as a 30-year-old guy, is Beau ever really going to understand a 6-year-old woman and not wanting to date or whatever it is? He has more sort of insight than some people would, but it's not going to be that fully thing of the woman's struggles or whatever. Nick probably more because he's feminine. He enjoys his vagina.
Yeah.
So I think you just go, well, that's the thing is it helps you reach out to the right people in the right circumstance instead of going to that, like you said, well, that's never going to give you what you want. And that comes from our parents, us constantly going to them for approval. And
Right.
maybe daddy will say the right thing this time. When's the last thing daddy or mommy ever said the right thing?
Yeah, never.
You know, bless their heart, but they're not gonna.
Yeah.
On their deathbed, maybe.
Yeah.
My mother said better things in the last year than she ever did because she was like, I don't know. She probably was like, well, my time's getting up, so I'm going to finally say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She never
That's
said I'm
what they
sorry in
do,
90
though.
years,
That's
but
what
she's
they
like,
do.
I'm sorry. I almost fainted when
Yeah.
she said I'm sorry. And it was about a small thing, but she's never said the words.
Yeah.
But until I accepted she was never going to say it and stopped looking for it, she didn't say it. And when it was like, that's never going to happen, and she said, I'm sorry, I died. It was wild.
Yeah.
That happened to my dad with my grandfather. My grandfather had dementia, and at the end of his life, that we were just talking to him, and he kind of knew who we were, like he was in and out. And then, before he died, not like immediately before, but
Right.
like a few weeks before, he turned to my dad, made eye contact, and looked at him and went, "I love you."
Yeah.
And my dad lost his shit.
Yeah.
He was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, but your father,
What?
our problem is if we're looking for it, your father had accepted this ain't going to happen.
Yeah, he used to get his ass kicked all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
My grandfather used
Right.
to beat the shit out
Well,
of him.
and that's the balance there is going, I can accept your limits, but I'm going to accept them from way over here.
Right.
So, meaning like we always talk about our parents and things like that. If there's a friend who I just know, it's like, why are you in my life? Oh, for just fun.
Right.
Like I have some friends, like acquaintances in my phone, who literally, if I tried to talk to them about anything,
Yeah.
it would be a disaster because
Yeah.
I'm not going to get what I want. Most people don't have the insight I do.
Right.
What am I going to, come on, really? I'm really going to be like, listen, here's what I'm struggling with. And they'll be like, you should really date because the way to get over a guy is to get under a guy. I'm like, what? So, like, you know what to go. I have a friend who she is an amazing hair, makeup, and clothes stylist. We can keep it at about that level.
Right.
And that's okay because that's very useful.
Mm-hmm.
And in the movie Clueless, which I'm sure is one of Nick's favorites because gay men love that, she says at one
She's
point,
so hot in that, too.
Alicia Silverstone has
One of my
this
first
like,
boners, no kidding.
Okay, nobody needs to hear
Sorry,
that. I have to
sorry.
accept you're going to cut me off. And you see my mouth moving?
What
It'd be
happened?
great for you not to fucking talk.
trying to, you
but I
know.
have to accept that and go.
Yes.
I'm
maybe-
trying to do more, guys,
I could say
right?
no, but not the wrong stuff. Maybe Rick can fix it in post. No, but he doesn't have to. Just kidding, JK. But
you, Rick.
her point is in the movie, she does this montage of all her friends, and she goes, I don't realize that all my friends, each one of them has different gifts, and this one appreciates art, this one is fun and kind, this one, and then you start going, oh yeah. So when I'm going to dial in my phone somebody who gets the whole codependency, I know who to call.
Right.
I know somebody to call to just make fun and laugh. Or
Right.
I have two friends. One of the guys is a big movie critic or TV critic. Dude, I love calling him and going, I can't verbalize why I hate this TV show. Why do I hate it? And he'll tell me because he knows me well enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to him for anything else, though, other
Right.
than jovial, fun stuff.
Yeah.
But if I try to call him, then whose fault is that?
Yeah.
Lisa, when has he ever been deep? Oh, yeah, deep as a puddle. Probably shouldn't call him.
Right.
But our problem is we try to win them over or change them, and that's powerless, and it's sad when we can't.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely people that I've, I remember there's this girl that I liked, and I kept trying to get her to like have a deep conversation.
Oy vey.
And it was just like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm not.
It's not there.
It's not happening. You know what I mean? It's just
Horrible.
And and then eventually you go like, oh okay, well this won't work. So you just have to go, all right.
Well, and the great thing is about it, I mean, everything we talk about, literally 90% of these episodes come back to, and I get to feel disappointed, and I get to feel sad about that, and then I move on.
Right.
So it's like if you call her in 10 years, like, an idiot like Nick who gets ghosted and then creates a date.
It's all fine.
What you have to do is you have to go, why am I dialing this person to see if it's like when they say Larry Miller used to joke about putting the sour milk back in the refrigerator expecting it to be fresh again when you took it out.
Yeah.
So I'm probably never going to call my TV critic friend for deep advice.
Yeah.
But if one day he gives me some, that's a happy surprise. But never expect it, or you're going to just be angry and worse, disappointed, because it's just being sad over and over.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just reliving the same grief over the same problem. And it's a bad cycle.
Well,
it
like
doesn't
you
get
with
anywhere.
booze, like you know how to think after the drink. You're like, oh, if I pick this drink up, here's what's going to happen. And you could see it devolving into standing on a roof about to jump off.
Right. And you know what recently I've been thinking about is like the scary thing, because I always used to say that, I'll play the tape through. This is what's going to happen when I take a drink. But I think I've been thinking about it recently, and I have no idea what's going to happen. I think that's even scarier. It's just
well, in your position, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it could go so many different ways so quickly. So it's like, yeah, don't mess with it.
Do any of them end well?
No.
Exactly.
There's no story.
Does it ever have you like you have a glass of wine and you're like, I enjoyed that, and then you don't do it for 6 months?
No, I think it would end up with him behind a dumpster sucking a dick of a drug owner, of a drug dealer. Am I right?
It could be nice.
Yeah, you never know. You have to be open with your sexuality. Oh, what movement! But it's the whole grief of not being able to change anyone or control them. Like, would I love if my friend with the baby called me? I mean, a newborn. I mean, that's a rough place to be in.
Yeah.
With COVID, with the freaking toddler, with the job, with the husband, with the this, the that, the other. Would it be great if I'd get a call going, hey, man, I decided I'm going to go out to lunch with you. Oh, my God. But to expect that, what am I going to keep having this painful sadness every day over it? No, you go, who's the chick who could have lunch?
Yeah.
Where's Gay Bobby? Now, you guys met Gay Bobby. That guy will have lunch with you.
Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, Gay Bobby is someone, and if he's listening, I hope he takes this as a compliment. I first thought, he's just going to be a fun friend who's goofy, and because you saw how much fun he is at the Brad Williams show. He's hilarious. He's funny. He's so like just in the moment. And I was like, that's just an acquaintance. There's glimmers of, wow, he can talk on deep stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it. It was a happy surprise.
You're right. Right.
You know, even with the podcast or something, we're like, you know what? Suppose we work it up to 1,000 listeners or whatever the hell it is. It'll be a happy surprise.
Yeah.
It's letting go of expectations just in life. Am I right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because if you live with expectations, you're going to get angry.
That's right.
You know, and if you don't, and then things are just surprisingly good, then you're setting yourself up to feel good, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to tell you a little story that applies to bragging about myself, which most of them do. Little Lisa Lampanelli was sitting one day at the pool at Canyon Ranch Health Spa, a very ritzy place in Arizona, and she gets a call from her publicist. Now, you're not supposed to answer your phone, and I would never.
Right.
Because it's a very exclusive place. No phones allowed. I've talked before about Julia Louis-Dreyfus was talking on her phone one day there, and I reported her. And I said, you are not Elaine. You are old Christine. Anyway, so I always hated people answering the phone. I see it's my publicist. I call her right back from the phone area where they're clearly marked Julia Louis. Figure it out. Anyway, my publicist says, you're not going to believe this. You were nominated for a Grammy. I'm like, for what? I'm not a fantastic singer yet.
Yeah.
And she said, best comedy album, because that's what they do.
Right.
I said, you're kidding me. This is a thing? She said, it's a thing. Well, I'm very excited. And I go, this is fantastic. So, of course, I did not win. No problem. And it is true, by the way, when they say to be nominated feels almost as good. Not exactly as good, but you still get a medal. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next year, the following year, 2 years later, a new special of mine came out, and I'm like, I want to get nominated for a Grammy again. Didn't happen because I'm expecting it.
Right.
Well, do you know? 5 years go by. I forget about the Grammys. I get a phone call from my manager and my new publicist because I'd fired that other one. And she said, you got nominated for a Grammy. I go, for what? She goes, your whatever the hell stupid album it was where I say cunt and things. Yeah. And she's like, oh, you forgot about it. That's why you got nominated. So I think that's the whole lesson. It's like, forget about people changing or things happening, because if it happens, great. If it doesn't, okay too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you had a lot of limits that you saw with Jimmy Big Balls.
Yeah.
I mean,
those big balls were a limit in themselves.
Yeah, like for walking. For
Yes.
him. Like,
No walking. No, you know what I had to accept about Jim? Well, we got a divorce, so ultimately I did not accept
Right.
that. But a big limit was Jimmy. Okay, I always thought it'd be super nice to, like, because you're in New York City, we're on the Upper West Side.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's go for dinner. So we go to big dinners all the time because at the time we hadn't gotten weight loss surgery yet. So we're eating these great meals, all these fancy, expensive places. I go, wouldn't it be nice to just walk home? And he'd be like, oh, I don't know. I got to hit the bathroom. I got to go. And his code for going number 2 was, which is very gentlemanly. He used to say, I got to go sit a while, which I love that. So I was like, yeah. So no romantic walk, huh? Okay, this is good. Kill me
Right.
now. So, and I obviously didn't accept that or anything else.
Yeah.
And divorce, which is fine. Which is fine. No, it's really good. I'm not lonely. The only way to get over it, guys, is get under one. No, but it's like great because
Yeah.
you go, wow, his new wife, I'm sure doesn't care about that.
right.
It's like, that's fine, you know? But this is a big lesson to me because I'm like, if I ever date again, which I don't want to, I can't even imagine what I'll have to accept about someone. I mean, they're going to be fucking old, first of all. That's super gross. They're going to be like 80 by the time I'm ready because I'm going to be ready in 20 years. And he'll probably, thank God, have a flaccid dick I won't even have to look at because I won't want to do no sex. And I'll just be emotionally open but sexually closed off, no UTIs. That's what I think is the perfect man, and I can't accept anything else.
How do you feel about a 71-year-old hot dog vendor?
I know exactly. Me and your dad could watch hot dog porn together.
By the way, you're the same age that my mother would be, and I was like, he goes, how old would mom be this year? This is my dad's shallowness. I was like 60. He goes, oof.
Yeah.
I go, you're 71, man.
He doesn't care. I love that your dad, though I accept your dad's limits, and I'll tell you why. Because he came up to us at Duchess, and he said
boy.
something he thought I was going to agree with politically, and I
Yeah.
didn't.
Right.
And he went, whoa, I'm walking away. And I go, I still accept he makes a hell of a hot dog.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't, my friend Cindy, she's so fucking insightful. She once said, she read, stop asking people questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Right.
So suppose I wanted Nick to work on, I don't know, his grammar. Suppose I don't care. But suppose that's something I wanted you to work on because it's so perfect. If I keep going so much, download that grammar program, I don't want the answer.
Right.
He's either going to say yes, and I'm going to get all excited, and I'll expect him to work on it, or he'll be like no, which is more likely, and I'll be really mad.
Right.
Don't ask the question.
No.
Just go, you know what? His journey is his journey.
Yes.
So we can't end this episode without asking Beau, how are you going to exercise this acceptance with the number one most dysfunctional relationship in your life? No, not with Nick,
Okay.
but with Mommy Dearest.
Oh boy.
Okay, so we're going to accept mom's limits, and I'm going to tell you what your mom's limits are. The good parts of mom, she's a caring, loving person.
Yes.
She is a tasty piece of ass. I did see her again at Gotham and said, wow, she's better looking than I remember.
Beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's good looking. And your father, by the way, was really nice.
He's a very kind person.
He is. I could
He
tell.
thought you were doing 30 minutes, which is weird.
Which is fantastic. I think that's cool because he thought Beau was the headliner. And I said, those two words, Beau and headliner, will never occur. So your mother's issues are that she calls too much.
Yeah.
She needs constant attention.
Yeah.
And she looks to you as the adult and she is the child. What do you have to accept about her in order to not get angry? Because she doesn't need you getting angry with her.
I think with mom, I have to accept that she feels like she constantly needs me. Mm-hmm. And I have to accept that she's not in a place where she can see that. She doesn't have the awareness.
Okay,
right?
so instead of banging your head against the wall trying to convince her to see things, what could you do instead?
I could set the boundary, right?
Which is
when she calls and she goes, hey, like, I want to come over and help with.
I made these ribs for you.
Yeah.
But I made ribs. Yeah, the ribs is Sunday.
Yeah, and you're not gonna come to the thing, and we're going to the Outer Banks
for a fucking week. You want to kill yourself?
Yeah, and I have to accept that Mom has these limits of what she understands, and I have to just go, hey, Mom, I know that you wanted that, and that's something you really want, but I just can't do that right now. It doesn't work for me.
So this is our way of saying, if you're listening, Beau is not going to the Outer Banks because we need him here to do 12 podcasts because Nick will probably disappoint us and skip the next 5 weeks.
Definitely won't.
I've accepted everyone's limits.
Yes.
Never have. Showed up every time. Beau's missed 2 assignments. I've missed none.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And he knew they were due.
We have to accept Beau's limits that he thinks he did it, but it didn't.
Nope. Not at all. Also, I want to say something in defense of your mother. Real quick.
She's at least alive.
And, yeah, at least you have one.
Yeah.
But do you think, and I obviously I don't know the relationship with her, but I mean, they know your stories. They know what you've been through with addiction.
Yeah.
And they were at our live podcast where you were talking about you wanted to jump off the roof.
Yes.
Do you think she's just worried about you?
Absolutely.
And wants to check in and knows.
Yeah, but 8 times a day.
No,
seems
I understand.
A little
I get it. Like, I understand, but like maybe making up for lost time. She's like, well, I didn't see this in the beginning, and now I'm going to make sure he's okay.
Absolutely.
In her defense.
Yeah, I think that there is a bit of that, and that's just part of the damage of the way that I lived. Yeah. And I have to accept my limit as this is my past. You know what I mean? But I can't let my past completely dictate my future. I have to still set that boundary.
Yeah, right.
But you're totally right. There is a lot of damage there, and there's a lot of scar tissue, and it's not going to go away in a few years, right?
In a way, you've given her every reason to worry, in a way.
Absolutely.
You've given her
but now his job, or any of our jobs, is to go, I'm fine. You have to believe that, and if you can't, it's your job to work on that by yourself. The way to do that is not checking in with me.
Right. The best revenge is living well.
That is true, and it's not happening for you.
No.
Daddy will get
bless. Yes, I believe this is true. But yeah, I think just going, I accept this, and also it's not throwing it in the other person's face. Like, we're joking around and stuff like that, but it's going, you almost don't even have to tell people what you think their limits are because they don't think they have any.
Right.
So, like, if you were like, boy, Lisa, that yell is really fucking loud, because it is. It's, I love it very much. You just go, I don't have to tell her, but I will wear cotton in this one ear. Or, no, seriously, like, I was seeing an ABBA tribute band the other night, stop bragging.
Yeah.
And I literally have to accept that my right ear, it fucking hurt. So I put a tissue in there. So if it's with me, you got to put the tissue in. You don't have to tell me why.
Right.
So we don't have to say things. Like, there's people who you ignore their call and then you just go, well, I don't have to. Listen, the reason I sent you to voicemail was because you're exhausting and I don't want to hear drama. No, it's just like I waited till I was ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to wait. So Beau's mother, lay the fuck off. We're not having a vacation this year. You have 3 other kids to mess up. Feed them the ribs.
Yeah.
Or me. I'm coming.
But we're all just one happy family.
You should go on vacation. That's cute.
No, it's disgusting. Okay. It's horrible.
He has a family. I don't. So go.
Okay. Yeah, you're putting your values onto him. I have his best interest.
He wants
at
to
heart.
go. He wants to go.
I want to do. I want to do whatever you guys want to do.
For a reminder how to not act like Beau in that moment, please listen to our former podcast on codependence. Yeah. My values should not be his. Right. But, well, yeah, they probably should. Because, I mean, who's smarter, better, fucking richer than me? Nobody.
Nobody.
Dumb, not richer, but.
Dumber. I think we've learned a lot.
I think we have.
And I think I've got to warn you, me too. And speaking of which, I've just got to warn you guys of one more boundary I have that you have to accept. Mm-hmm. I will never, ever share my Lenny and Larry's cookies with you. Because I got hoodwinked on Amazon.
Yeah.
And instead of them being instead of them being $24 a box, because I order them in bulk because of protein, I got hoodwinked. I forgot to look at the price. $42 for a box, and you fucking germs want to come over and say, "Oh, Lenny and Larry's." No,
But you're a millionaire.
I don't care.
You talk about it all the time.
I don't care. I hate throwing away money, and I was very angry and tried to cancel that order. Shut up. So what I'm going to say to you is, you got to accept Lisa's generous in a lot of ways, but for some reason, sharing those cookies really burns me up.
Yep.
And Beau, speak for us.
And we have to accept that you are in a fight with a customer service rep every 2 days.
Every one day, I'm calling that Amazon going, I can't believe that you would fucking do this to me. I can't believe as a good customer of Mirror and all these Amazons that they can't just do everything I say.
They're on the other end like, she must have lost all her money or something because
Oh
she's
my
complaining
God.
about this $15
Did I ever tell
thing.
you?
There are customer service reps just typing in net worth every day.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
why is she doing this?
Oh, by the way, I was recognized over the phone one day when I was calling, when my mom was still alive. I was really angry because they had sent her, because I hate like losing money on anything. It's just not, I don't have scarcity, but I do have like this thing from Depression era parents that you don't flush money down the toilet. Well,
Yep.
I have to order for my mother some products, if you will, that older people wear, some Depends, if you will. And they sent like a really shitty, like janky ass generic brand instead of the real shit, honey. So I call up the guy and go, yeah, you know, like I really want to return these. And I just opened one package. I really think you got to take them back.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh gosh, no problem. And he goes, is this Lisa Lampanelli, the comedian? And I go, yes. And now you know, not only do I order Depends, I also am too cheap to eat the $24. I said, but in my defense, those are for my mother who's 90, and it's her money. And he goes, no, I fully respect that. But you know he was laughing about me wearing Depends and being so cheap I won't let the $24 go. It's just me.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
No, but in your defense, as someone who's been training very wealthy people for the last 5-6 years,
Yes.
I'm talking people worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't fuck around.
No.
This $100. This what's this $100 charge? They'll come right to the gym.
100%.
And they're ready. What's this? Why did you?
Yeah.
So I get it.
Well, my mother always said, you know why rich people are rich? Because they keep their money.
Yeah.
So I fully respect that. Like, I literally, one of the happiest days of my life every month. Oh my God, never get in touch with me on the 27th. My Amex bill comes and I put everything on my Amex bill because you have to pay it.
Yeah.
Well, I take my receipts and I match it all up and check them off, and I call Amazon and I say, I don't see my credit for that interior lime green paint. And then they point it out and I say, no problem. Thank you very much. But I think it's a control. See, it's control.
No matter how poor I am, I'll never do that.
Yeah.
Want to know? That's why you'll always be poor. Rich people keep our money. Learn it, live it, love it.
And that's been the lesson for today.
You want to get rich and stay rich? Talk to Lisa Lampanelli.
That's right. Because really, when you retire, even if you saved a ton of money, you always go, well, there's no money coming in because it's just a different dynamic.
Right.
And you're living off what you have. So even if it was 10,000 or 4 million or 5 million or 1 million, you really go, this is a weird dynamic to get used to. But
Right.
I've never been one to flush money. You should have seen, I would stay at places that were so fancy. I mean, the per night charge was so much, but you would see me sitting there with that bill going, only park 2 days out of the 3. I don't care. That's, you know, at those places they charge like $50 a night to park.
Yeah.
LL's no fool. And you have to accept that about me.
I had a client that retired. I trained him and his wife. Very wealthy. Like they literally they trained multiple times a week, memberships for like 2 years at Equinox. I think they spent like $30,000 on training and gym memberships.
Oh, yeah.
And the second he retired, and they canceled their memberships.
Yep.
And they were done. And I was like, I'll train you at your home for this much, which was, I mean, a quarter
Probably
of what
nothing,
they were
yeah.
paying. And they're like, still too much for our budget.
It's interesting
And they
because
stuck to
my
this,
business manager told me that. He goes, I really respect that you're so thorough and that you're always, every 6 months we have a conversation. Oh my God, am I doing okay? Did I spend too much on Amazon or whatever? Because I don't overspend.
Yeah.
And he always goes, Lisa, the fact that you're asking, like you're never going to spend too much because you're asking.
Yeah.
So he told me though, he has some clients who there's a husband and wife who like, they will never retire despite having he goes, at this point their money's outliving them.
Yeah.
And they literally will not stop working at 70 and 75.
Yeah.
He goes, so at least you had the guts to stop working. I
Yeah.
think we need to do an episode on scarcity.
I was thinking that this basically is turned into a scarcity.
No,
podcast.
we're going to do it. Scarcity.
And we got to end now so we don't talk about it
what's
anymore.
my other one? Was there another one?
The stories we tell ourselves.
Stories Nick tells himself.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
fucking perfect.
Well, that's a story we're going to debunk next time on.
Well, the story that you should be telling yourself at home
no,
is
is that
to rate
Beau should
and review.
never do segues. No, rate and review. Give us 5 stars or suck my clam.
That's right.
Or both.
Or both.
Whatever.
Everything.
Thank you, everybody. Listen to Loser's Dream. Hey, review, rate, repeat, refer us to a friend with AIDS. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Losers with a Dream. We'll see you next week when you got more time to kill. Fucking hate these guys.